The Who Would Win of the Week this week is the MythBusters versus the Ghostbusters. I don't know who's winning, but somebody's getting busted. This is probably the most busting of any Who Would Win battle that we've had, aside from maybe Cardi B versus Miss Piggy, if you know what I'm saying. But the point is, somebody's busting myths, somebody's busting ghosts. Now, it's interesting because you would think that the ghosts would be the less tangible thing to bust. But I think if we look at this... The MythBusters are busting. I mean, what is a myth even? It's just an idea, a concept. Makes their job a little bit harder, I think.
So, it's a little bit confusing because there's been some cast overhaul since then.
But we know who the MythBusters are.
Adam Savage is.
Adam Savage. That's him.
No, Adam Savage is the guy with the black. Yes, he's the guy with hair. Jamie is the bald guy that wears the
hat.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
The
beret?
Yeah, Sagadilla.
The Sagadilla.
As Hub would call it.
That's not a Sagadilla.
And then I don't know which woman is which. Because there was two women. Carrie Byron. Carrie. She was the host from 2003, or she was on it from 2003 to 2016. So we got Carrie. So we got Adam, Jamie, Carrie, and then Grant, who is the Asian guy. Yeah. Would not have gone with Grant if I had to
name him.
Guess his name.
What would you have gone with, Matthew? What would you have
I
gone
wouldn't
with?
have assumed Grant because his last name
what would you have assumed it was, Matthew?
Imahara is his last name.
Mm-hmm. And what would you assume his first name?
Grant is a very westernized. Are we Western? Is that? Mm-hmm. It's a very westernized name.
Depends on where you start, I guess.
I'm just saying,
you're racist. That's what you're saying.
I'm saying I'm not saying I'm going to get myself to a slippery slope here. All right. This is going to make it sound worse, but it's supposed to make it sound better.
Stop. Let's talk about something else.
No.
This woman, I feel
You're
like
not going to give me a chance to explain?
Do you want me to? Think about if you really want me to. Think about if you really want me to give you the opportunity to keep talking. Yeah, I didn't think so.
But I will say that came off a lot worse than it was supposed to be scenario. Because of the last name.
Yeah. People have last name.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's a very westernized name.
Funny.
Why is it funny?
It just is, Matthew.
I know. Yeah.
Here's Carrie Byron. I feel like every...
Emily, put that on the do not clip list for this week.
I feel like every, woman who was kind of like a host of a show, they all looked like her. They all had her exact face.
Next, that's what I was saying. Jessie Combs then was 2009, 2010. She looks... I can't really tell, but she looks
different, though?
To me, pretty similar.
Oh, okay.
So we got Adam, Jamie, Carrie, and Grant. We're ruling out Tori.
Guy.
We're ruling out Tori.
That's his name?
Yes.
I wouldn't guess Tori would be his first name.
Why?
Because he's clearly Polish, so I would assume his first name would be something like... Oh, Christ.
His last name is
Let's
Belisi.
definitely skip Belisi. Yeah, I would have guessed Geronimo or something. Because of the
You're
last
blowing
name.
this out of proportion.
Because of the last name.
I'll allow it.
Thank you.
So, versus the Ghostbusters. Can you name the Ghostbusters for me? I can also.
Yeah. Peter Venkman. Venkman, which I think is Bill Murray's character.
I'm looking.
And Egon, of course. Harold Ramis. And then you have Ernie. Wait, no. Because Winston, who is played by Ernie Hudson. And then you have Egon Spangler. So what the fuck is it? Venkman?
I'm getting there. You got Peter Venkman, that's Bill Murray.
Yeah.
You got Raymond Stantz, that's Dan Aykroyd.
That's one I could remember.
You got
Harold Ramis.
Harold Ramis is Dr.
Egon Spangler. You have Ernie Hudson, who is Winston something.
Winston Zedmore.
Nice.
Dude, Ernie Hudson's looking jacked.
He is. He keeps his shit together.
I gotta not let that affect me because he was kind of skinny in the movie.
They were all pretty skinny. They all have that weird '80s body where like they weren't like their bodies just kind of were.
Can I say a couple things?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go down the line. Grant is a killer. Grant is really MythBusters' only hope in this fight, I believe.
Keep going. Go ahead. Keep going.
Jamie, people think he's a killer.
Yeah.
I personally think he's one of those guys who was like JROTC, like, you know what I mean? Like, thought he was.
I do know what you mean.
But he never actually had to do anything.
No, that's not Jamie at all. Let me tell you who Jamie is.
And how are you going to tell me?
Because I remember the show.
This is my perception.
This is your perception. I'm telling you the reality.
Okay. All right.
You know, in the movie, you've seen the feature film Ratatouille, I assume.
With the rat.
With the rat.
Yeah.
You know, there's that part. Maybe you don't remember this, but there's a part where the guy goes, "I killed the man with this thumb."
Yes.
That's Jamie.
Yeah. But he never actually done it.
Yeah,
that's a classic.
Jamie he did done it.
No.
He did done it.
Jamie done it. I have a totally different perception of Jamie.
Okay, I'm telling it like it is.
No, you're giving me your perception of Jamie.
All right, fair enough.
I think that Jamie is an absolute non-factor in this fight. Like, I really do. Because, for multiple reasons. One, I think he is hardened, like a guy who spends a lot of time working with his hands and stuff like that, but he, in actuality, is big into cargo shorts with a tucked-in T-shirt and a fanny pack.
Okay, and that's a problem?
No, but that's a number one sign to me that, like...
You can't fight? Can't
throw
hands?
From what I know, he's not ex-special forces of any sorts.
Yeah, he just has that hat. He just bought that hat.
Yeah, like, but that's what I mean. So that's his look. Like, again... what was the woman's name? Carrie?
Yeah.
Carrie, I don't know yet. My problem with Carrie is she, again, because she has red hair, she looks like Black Widow.
Okay.
So, like, that's throwing me off a little bit. But I don't think, like, to me, I think Carrie puts up a better fight than Jamie.
I think it's a totally different thing. I mean, if again, you know, we've got these two groups of 4, so I think there are like 1-to-1 matchups we can pull.
I'm not done with my breakdown of the MythBusters, and then we go to Adam. Adam for sure would get his ass kicked.
Yeah, I can see.
I don't think Adam's very tough.
That's interesting because I do feel like Adam is kind of the leader of this squad.
Well, okay, so this is perfect. This brings me back to Jamie because, yes, Adam is 100% the leader, and everybody knows it except for Jamie because Jamie thinks, like,
no,
these people are dumb for not following.
No, you got it wrong, dude. Jamie doesn't want that. Jamie doesn't want that heat. He's like, fine, let Adam do all this stuff. But you can see that. You can see that today because Adam is still, like, very proactive and creating crazy content and stuff. Jamie's out.
Yeah,
can you tell me where Jamie is? He's retired. He doesn't need that life
anymore. In Jamie's
anymore.
mind, he's like,
he said what he had to say.
They should have never gone the way of TikTok. Like, a real man does stuff with his hands.
I completely disagree. Well, mostly disagree. But if we're looking at this matchup again, let's talk about the Ghostbusters. Let me talk about the Ghostbusters a little bit now that you've done your MythBusters.
No,
go ahead. Keep going.
I don't want to take all the thunder.
I don't care.
Because I was going to get into the Ghostbusters, not person by person, but here's my thing is the MythBusters have attempted to bust a lot of myths. Some they bust, some they don't.
Yeah.
I think that the knowledge of ghosts would fuck the MythBusters' brains up.
What?
Yes.
No.
They'd be like,
I've never seen a group of people more prepared to like see evidence of ghosts.
See, I think
even over the Ghostbusters. To be honest with you,
because they're like,
what the hell?
Science is telling me that this myth should be busted, and yet there's ectoplasm on me.
Yeah.
And I don't think they would deal with that well mentally.
I disagree. I think they'd be totally ready.
I think Glasses would have a mental break. He would fucking lose it. Jamie would be like, I'm not afraid of ghosts, and then he'd get ectoplasma thrown up on him or whatever it's called. He'd get gooed, like in
slimed. They call it slimed.
Like, in Ghostbusters they call it slimed. I was thinking like in Amityville or
I don't know.
The haunted house one.
I don't know.
The haunted house.
I've never seen it.
The movie. We watched it together.
I didn't.
Not long ago.
Oh, Poltergeist.
Poltergeist. When they come out of the wormhole type thing and they're all gooey.
They got that ectoplasm.
They got placenta on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ectoplasm.
He would not like that.
I think you would love it. Dude, I think you'd be like, wow,
I have a totally different perception of
that guy. We really do have completely different perceptions on like who these MythBusters are.
Grant is a killer.
We don't need to worry about Grant. Grant's going to hold his own just fine.
Tee us up on the Ghostbusters.
Okay, the Ghostbusters. So Bill Murray, kind of the de facto leader because he's confident, but he's not necessarily the brightest guy. Egon, he's the brightest guy, but he's weird and he's so focused on science. I think he and Jamie, that's the matchup there. You probably have, Carrie. Carrie is interesting because I feel like Carrie, she's very smart, and the Ghostbusters are the kind of guys who would fall prey to her womanly wiles.
Yes, they're fascinated by smart women.
And if she showed them even like the slightest hint of affection, they'd be crossing the beams on themselves. You know what I mean? The thing about the Ghostbusters is they aren't afraid of no ghosts. But the other thing about them is that they are easy to trick.
Yes.
Like they do create the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Like they think of the, you know. And it's weird because the Ghostbusters, like, they do seem to, they face danger, they run towards danger, and they do have these very complex, obviously the proton packs. They put them together. But also, that's like, I don't think they all work on those. Like, that's, to me, that seems more like an Egon Ray thing, and then Bill Murray character and Ernie Hudson's character just like, yeah, this is great, this is cool how this works. The MythBusters, every one of them does tackle some kind of engineering feat. So they've got working with their hands. They've got the work ethic. I think they might beat the Ghostbusters. I honestly,
my
I think they do
point
beat the Ghostbusters.
To your argument is that the Ghostbusters do get easily tricked in the movie by the supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
They are not the supernatural. I just have this. Here's my problem, dude. The MythBusters, and I liked MythBusters, but I mean those guys are just. I don't see. I see Grant being their only hope, and I don't think Grant can 4-on-1 the Ghostbusters. I do agree with your point about Carrie, but like Adam and Jamie, like they're just non-factors.
I just think that's an insane thing to say.
Well, that's where our disagreement lies. That's why I'm taking the Ghostbusters,
and I'm gonna have to take the MythBusters.
Vote on that on Instagram on Friday. Who would win of the week? Ghostbusters versus MythBusters. I don't necessarily agree. I don't necessarily agree. I think if you included Tori in the mix, totally different game.
Well, Tori in the mix, then I'm definitely going Ghostbusters.
Because he looks like, what's the lead singer from
he looks like an Uncle Cracker type. Nah, he doesn't look quite like, all right, I can see it. Because I'm used to picturing Chad Kroeger with like the long hair.
Yeah, he's got some serious Chad
definitely
Kroeger
like a band from that era.
Yeah, he's got some serious Chad Kroeger. Yep.
Stone Temple Pilots.
Are we certain that's not?
I've never seen him in the same place. Yeah. I've never seen.
I bet you there is an episode of MythBusters with Nickelback on it.
Yeah,
that's
for
just
sure.
Perfect era type of. Talk about a crossover.
What channel was MythBusters on?
Discovery or History, one of the two.
Well, it was one of them. I think it was Discovery, because History is Pawn Stars and American Restoration and like more of those shows. American Restoration, do you remember that show?
I never watched it.
It was so good. I think it was technically a Pawn Stars spinoff because I know it did take place in Las Vegas, and I think they had that guy come in.
History ended up doing a bunch of shows that were like spinoffs from Pawn Stars of the I Know a Guys.
Oh yeah, there was like a car one. There was a big car one that was cool. I watched a couple episodes of that.
Yeah.
But American Restoration, that show ruled because they would take like anything, any piece of shit.
Old Coke stuff. A lot of old Coke stuff.
That's the stuff, which is obviously like just the 1950s Coke dispensers and things.
And they would find like the exact like powder paint to like repaint. Yeah, they would sandblast.
Tough gig, dude.
I need a sandblaster.
You do. You need something.
Cool.
It sounds like you need to get your hands on that kind of material.